Hello, my name is Victoria Howard.
And my name's Andrea Zhang. Today we're going to be talking about how Portland, Oregon's urban form has been shaped by its transportation infrastructure.
Portland recognized the negative impact of automobiles on its quality of life for its residents and proactively invested in multimodal transit over the duration of its existence. Portland is located in northwestern Oregon, right along the Willamette and Columbia River. Railroads were later constructed within the city limits, and this combination of river access and rail made Portland a center of regional trade for products like fish, timber, wheat, and cattle.
In 1869, the Oregon Central Railroad was built. Its track ran parallel to the Pacific coast, carrying freight as well as passengers. By 1896, the Portland Union Station had opened, and then in 1909, a feeder line was built from Portland to Seattle, Washington.
Because Portland is surrounded by so many waterways, bridges have played an integral role in the city's development. The black and white photo shows the first bridge built in Portland, the Morrison Bridge. Constructed in 1887, it crosses the Willamette River and allowed development to expand from across the west banks of the river to the east. Today, the city has over 160 bridges.
In the early 1870s, Portland had a horse-drawn streetcar system. The first line was 2 miles long. In 1888, 4 more companies were operating lines. Horse-drawn streetcars in Portland were short-lived because by 1890, the city had its first electric streetcar, which reduced the operating costs by half. The electric streetcars made it easy to travel up Portland's steep hills. On the right, there's a map of Portland's streetcar system in 1904. The red and green show different companies operating lines within the city.
Streetcars in Portland resulted in a distinct grid street pattern. This map from 1912 shows how quickly the streetcar system expanded since the one we saw from the previous slide in 1904. Note that the lines expanded further out from the city center and that there are more lines within the city center as well.
In 1900, Oregon began to see its first automobiles. Oregon was the first state with a gas tax, and by 1920, there were over 700 miles of paved roads within Oregon.
Post-World War II, the car exploded in popularity, creating problems with congestion. Burnside Street is a central transportation corridor in Portland, and it was widened to 8 lanes in 1931. Since the buildings were adjacent to the existing sidewalks, contractors placed the facades of the buildings on rollers and moved them away from the road to create right-of-way for travel lanes, on-street parking, wider sidewalks, and aesthetically pleasing lighting. The Burnside Widening Project occurred during a time when the state of Oregon was prioritizing traffic efficiency. Federal emphasis on the national highway system further affected the land use patterns of Portland by spurring the growth of suburbs as seen in other areas of the United States. Although bicycles did not gain popularity until the 2000s, Portland's first bicyclist roadmap was established a century before its time. Cycling was widely seen as recreational, but that changed as facilities improved and more people chose to cycle to work. Portland's narrow streets, a legacy of the streetcar, made it a safe city for bike commuters. In 2015, the Portland City Council voted to commence a new bike share program to support alternative modes for travel.
Come 1969, Portland saw the creation of the Tri-County Metropolitan District of Oregon, aka the Tri-Met. Portland at the time was experiencing traffic congestion and economic decline in downtown districts. TriMet sought to address these problems by reevaluating land use and investing in transportation alternatives. Their first step was to deprivatize the bus system and expand it to suburban areas. TriMet began construction on a light rail system in 1978. Once completed in 1998, there were 127 cars operating on 52 miles of track. A total of 5 lines serviced 85 stations. They called it MAX, Metropolitan Area Express. MAX is the perfect example of transit-oriented development, or TOD. It connected all of the suburbs to the city center, reducing traffic congestion.
TriMet also expanded Portland's bus system, as mentioned before. Today, there are 79 lines and 625 buses. All of them use environmental-friendly biodiesel fuel. Additionally, 254 minibuses and 15 vans provide paratransit options for those who aren't as mobile.
In 2001, Portland revived the streetcar. There are 2 lines that operate downtown in a loop. The revived streetcar system supports downtown commerce and tourism, and the city is considering adding another line.
In 2007, the South Waterfront District and the Oregon Health and Sciences University privately funded the Portland Aerial Tram that serves their patients, employees, and students for free, and others at an affordable fare. This aerial tram is one of 2 in existence and really showcases Portland's innovative spirit when it comes to multimodal transportation. As you can see, Portland, Oregon has grown so much over its existence. As people were able to travel longer distances in shorter amounts of time, they chose to live further from the city center. But Portland has also supported transit with over 328 miles of bike lanes and a revamped, well-marketed streetcar system. Portland has always prioritized multimodal development as a cornerstone for residents' ability to live, work, and play. Because of this, Portlanders enjoy the luxury of greater accessibility and mobility more than most other U.S. citizens.